Hello, welcome. It's 12:15, it's a Friday. That means we're here with another Weather Studio Live.
Yeah.
I'm Alex Burkill. I'm still not in that intro sequence. We need to work on that. I mentioned it last time I was here.
No, I'm Alex Burkill, it just said.
It's going well so far. No, I'm Alex Burkill. We got it right in the end, and you are?
I'm on a Criswick. I'm not Alex, clearly.
No. There
Alex
are enough
can't
Alexes
get away
anyway.
with this pink.
But thank you for joining us. It's going to be a good Weather Studio Live, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As you're well aware, we've had so much dry, relatively warm, sunny weather. It's not been anywhere near as warm as it was a week ago, but you know, if you've had any decent sunshine, it's not felt too bad for most of us. But there are some signs of something a bit wetter coming up. We're going to be talking about the risk of some thunder over the next, it's Sunday really is the greatest risk, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday onwards, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be talking a bit more about that in more detail. But there's also going to be lots of warm sunshine around this weekend as well, isn't there? So
Yeah.
it's not all doom and gloom.
Temperatures creeping up just a little bit. Still not quite as warm as like the 1st of May when it was like so very warm.
Yeah,
but still.
yeah.
Mid-20s, possibly even a little bit higher than that. But nonetheless, yeah, it's going to be warm. So yeah, normal Weather Studio Live, shindigs going on. So we'll be throwing loads of questions at Honor. So do get them coming in the comments. We already have some questions from last week's live and also Honor's wonderful deep dive that she did on Tuesday as well. So we'll be answering some of those. And as always, we'll have a quiz.
Yay! I'm scared. I don't feel as confident for this one.
No, you probably shouldn't be. You did quite well when Alex was here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and
2
Aidan
weeks
did
ago.
quite well as well last week with Alex.
What
I think
did
he
get?
got 4 as well.
No one's got 5 yet.
No one's got 5.
I really thought 2 weeks ago I'd got 5 and I was so ready to gloat. But I got 4. But that's still pretty good.
I'd be surprised if you get 5 today. Which
Okay.
does mean, so there's no pressure. And also, if now you do get 5, then extra gloating.
Yeah.
Because you were like, you told me I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. But also now you've put the pressure on and it's but we'll see.
It's no pressure. It's not going to happen. So it's fine. Right, what have you been up to this week?
This week, lots of presenting. Did my deep dive on Tuesday. We took a look at spring so far, compared it to other springs. So far, it's, if we carry on the way we're going, it could potentially be the warmest and driest spring so far that we've ever had. So, since records began. But we'll have to take a look at the weather over the coming weeks to see, because obviously the end of meteorological May won't be till end of this month. So we've still got a few weeks to go. But yeah, otherwise, it's been a fairly quiet week for me. What about you?
Well, yeah, weather-wise, it's been quite quiet, which is sometimes nice for a change.
Yeah.
Away from the weather world. I've been doing a fair bit of gardening because the weather's pretty good. I found a dead tree at the end of my garden the other day.
Your garden's so long, you've still not explored the end, and you've finally got there and there's a dead tree.
It was behind some other trees, and so it's not huge. We're not like anyway. So I was hacking that down the other day to get rid of it, and so that's gone. So that's good.
Nice.
We've already had loads of questions coming in. Lawrence Blackshaw, you have been busy. And so let's answer some of those questions. There was one that I liked to do that. So one of them, so there we go. I know every day is different, but what does a typical day look like for you on the presenting team? That's a good question. I actually created a video which is on my Instagram. I think it's on our it's on our Instagram and our TikTok if you scroll back. And it was a day in the life of a weather presenter showing the different videos that we do, because we create a lot of different content. We create videos both for our channels, our YouTube channel to go out on our app and our website. We also create videos for a few customers as well.
Yeah.
And they are all different lengths. We record them in different studios. We're lucky we have 2 studios here. We're in Studio 1 at the moment. The majority of our forecasts go out on Studio 2. But as well as the broadcasts that we do, we're writing some scripts occasionally. We're preparing work for evergreen videos. You'll have no doubt seen there's a lot of evergreen videos coming out at the moment. So weather explainers talking about a number of topics. We have various meetings. We do some training with other members of the Met Office who might want to get better at presenting. And there's always stuff going on. So we're quite busy, especially when we're presenting and especially when there's severe weather around, because as well as our normal presenting, we can do interviews, TV, radio. We get the lot coming through. So we have lots of things to be getting on with. But speaking of lots of things getting on with, I think the big question for this weekend, we've already touched on it, but I want to get to it quite quickly. the thunderstorm risk. So there are two things to bear in mind with this. So obviously we've had so much warm, dry, sunny weather recently. Sorry, you were ready to go. Now I've pulled you back in. We've had so much warm, dry, sunny weather. And I think a large chunk of the population, many people, will be loving it and enjoying the fact that you can go outside, you can enjoy the time. And they'll be hoping that it continues. And on the whole, I think there's going to be a long, prolonged period still of lots of dry weather for many of us. But lots of people, farmers, gardeners, other people, desperate for a bit of rain because we've seen so little. And so the fact that there's the chance of seeing some rain this weekend is good news for some. Yes,
potentially. Obviously, it can lead to impacts as well. Like you said, it's been so dry. The ground is super dry. So if we do get a sudden showers, for example, that we're expecting on Sunday, and the ground's already quite dry, that can lead to some surface water issues as well. So yes, the rainfall is required for many, such as, like you say, farmers, but it can potentially lead to some risks as well. So it's a tricky one, isn't it? It
is a tricky one, but not everywhere's going to see it, and there are some question marks. Do you want to take us through what we're likely to see?
Yes.
I think I will now let you go over to the screen.
Yes, I was so keen. I was literally on the edge of my seat. So, yes, the question this weekend is, are you going to see any thunderstorms? And it's a little bit tricky. It's not as simple as yes or no. We've still got fairly low confidence with regards to where exactly we could see any thunderstorms pop up from Sunday onwards. And I'm going to try and explain why. So yes, over the last few days, we've had high pressure dominating our weather, lots of sunshine, particularly on Saturday, wall-to-wall sunshine in many places. But if we follow this through, if I just drag this later Saturday, notice we do have this slight little occlusion feature, little area of low pressure just towards the Bay of Biscay. And I'm just gonna switch that off, turn on our air mass temperatures. So what you notice if I play this through, later Saturday into early hours of Sunday, this little plume here starts to edge its way up towards the southwest, later on across parts of Wales. And if we just skip forward towards Monday, there is a risk that this potentially could become more widespread. So more widespread across England and Wales, this warm plume of air pushing up from the southwest. And when we tend to get this kind of weather, this warm, moist air, well, that can lead to the risk of thunderstorms. The only thing is, thunderstorms can be a little bit tricky to forecast because they tend to be hit and miss. So one part of the UK could be in glorious sunshine, whereas just a mile down the road, we could be seeing quite a heavy thundery downpour and quite a lot of rainfall, particularly if those thunderstorms are quite slow moving. You can get quite heavy outbreaks of rain for a couple of hours or so. So thunderstorms, hit and miss thunderstorms in particular, they're similar to water boiling in a pot. We know that bubbles are eventually going to reach the surface when that water becomes boiling, but it's a bit tricky to determine where exactly those bubbles are going to appear. Thunderstorms are very similar. So as we head over into Sunday, this purple shaded area here is where there's a good chance that we could see some thundery outbreaks. At first across Devon and Cornwall, parts of Wales during Sunday morning, and then later on pushing into Northern Ireland into the afternoon. But as I say, they're going to be hit and miss. So it could be sunshine, all of a sudden you'll catch a heavy thundery downpour, and there is a chance that we could see some quite heavy rainfall totals in association with this. This grey kind of shaded area, sunny spells, it's going to be very warm, but still a risk of isolated thunderstorms. So across a lot of England and Wales on Sunday, there is a chance. Then as we head towards Monday, notice this purple shaded area is a bit more widespread across the country, so it becomes even trickier to determine where exactly a thunderstorm could be. But there is a risk, hit and miss, as I say. But if you do catch one of those heavy thundery downpours, you could see between 20 to 30 millimetres of rain within an hour or less. And over 2 to 3 hours, there is a possibility of seeing around 50 millimetres of rain. So some very heavy downpours, particularly if those showers are quite slow moving. And this can lead to surface water impacts. Now, hopefully that rain lands in the right places where we're seeing quite dry conditions, farmland, for example. but still a risk across much of western Scotland, northwestern parts of England, elsewhere central southern parts of England and Wales, and also Northern Ireland on Monday. But this grey shaded area is the highest risk of impacts from where we could see these thunderstorms. And it's fairly similar as we head into Tuesday as well, this time more confined across southern parts of England and Wales. So from Sunday onwards, yes, there is a risk of seeing some quite heavy thundery downpours at times. There is a chance we could see some warnings issued over the weekend for thunderstorms, so keep an eye on our website and across our social media for those. But could you see a thunderstorm? Yes, possibly, but they are very hit and miss, and I'm afraid to say it's fairly low confidence where exactly those thunderstorms will be at the moment.
Thanks very much, Anna. You mentioned the potential that we may need some warnings. Hibskid1 has asked, what defines a yellow warning for thunderstorms?
Ooh, well, it's all based on impacts, isn't it? So a yellow warning, there could be potential flooding issues. And obviously with thunderstorms, you can get hail, frequent lightning, some quite strong gusts. And as I say, if some of those thunderstorms are fairly slow moving, you could get some quite heavy downpours leading to flooding issues. So I assume that that's the kind of, I don't know the exact, you're probably the best one to ask. You did your video about warnings, didn't you?
Yeah, I did do it. Actually, lucky that you mentioned that. Yeah, there is a video, one of our evergreen videos, like I mentioned earlier, explaining how warnings work and why we issue them. And that's, I think we're going to put a link to that in the comments or in the chat. That I didn't touch too much on thunderstorms in particular, but yes, when it, like you say, when it comes to impacts, thunderstorms, they're really tricky. I think you've already touched on that. They're so hit and miss. It says it in the text there that, you know, one place could get a downpour, one place could get large hail, frequent lightning, and somewhere not too far away gets very little, if anything. But when we're issuing thunderstorm warnings, it's just about the risk of those various hazards. So the hail, the lightning, the flash flooding, because you can get those intense downpours. Yeah. And it's a tricky one, really, and it's definitely why we can't issue one with particularly strong lead time, because if we were to issue a warning now, it would be such a big area. But as we get nearer the time, even the end result, the area is going to be much larger than it really needs to be in the end, because of the uncertainty when it comes to thunderstorms. But yeah, if you do end up in a warning area for thunderstorms through Sunday, Monday, and perhaps into Tuesday as well, just be aware that there's the risk of perhaps some flooding if you get a torrential downpour. There could be some large hail, there could be some frequent lightning, and all the hazards associated with that as well. Yeah, it's a tricky one with thunderstorms because they are my favourite weather type. Your favourite? I know, I do love them. Wow. Yeah, I just feel like I always seem to miss them, but I love when you catch some lightning, you hear the thunder. I find them quite exciting. I saw some good ones when I was in Canada. I bet, yeah, because there's a bit more convection. Yeah. Saw some mammatus cloud. Everyone was sick of me talking about it, but I enjoyed it. My wife, we were driving up north somewhere, I can't remember, up to a gran, I think, in Newcastle, and I saw some mammatus just as we were driving on the motorway, and I made us pull into a service station, and it was like, I was just screaming, I was like, hey, that's my mammatus. And she was like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, keep driving, Alex. Yeah, pay attention to the road. I was like, no. Just because, it's my favourite type of cloud. Yeah, they're exciting. And you don't get to see it all that often. No. I've had a few people earlier on this week, I think, sent me some photos of it around. So yeah, it's pretty good. Couple of, one question. You've loosely answered it already, but just in case, Mrs. Aviator has asked, will Swansea see thunderstorms on Sunday? And I think your picture helps illustrate that quite nicely. Yes. So yes, there is a chance. Yeah, as we've already mentioned, they are going to be hit and miss. So 1 minute it will be, sunshine with big fluffy clouds everywhere, and all of a sudden you get that one particular cumulonimbus cloud, is what the kind of cloud type we see thunderstorms in. So all of a sudden you'll catch one of those and potentially see quite a heavy thundery downpour. But yes, Swansea is within the purple area for Sunday. So yes, hit and miss showers. Probably first thing it looks like, Sunday morning, and then it looks like that kind of plume pushes up northwards, but still potential for hit and miss showers into the afternoon as well. So I suppose the highest risk would probably be during the morning. But yes, Sunday, Monday, possibly even Tuesday. But yes. MJ has asked a sensible question. We've talked about high pressure. High pressure is dominating at the moment, but they've said high pressure makes the air sink. So how do we get thunderstorms with a sinking air mass? Yeah, so if we take a look at the bigger picture then, so this is from
This is from today, so Friday, but what you'll actually notice, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. So this area of high pressure has been been with us over the last week or so, I suppose, but it's eventually pushing its way eastwards. So as this does so, notice as it pushes its way more towards mainland Europe, that as it pushes away, this allows this plume to push up from the south. So initially what we actually find is we've got quite elevated instability. So that's where we tend to get unstable air aloft. So even though the air below is quite stable, aloft it's very unstable. So it only needs a little bit of a trigger in order to create a thunderstorm. So as this warm plume pushes up from the south, daytime heating starts to occur, and that kind of creates more and more convection. I can't speak today. More and more convection, surface-based plus elevated, and that adds as a trigger to create those thunderstorms. So yes, high pressure, but as it seeps away, moves further eastwards, that allows that plume to push up from the south. But I think eventually we've got high pressure building back in. So it's probably just a slight blip to more unsettled conditions Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then yes, you're right, we've got high pressure building back in, the air is sinking, we don't get any unstable air from air moving upwards, and thus it lowers the risk of showers, thunderstorms and any kind of unsettled weather. So yes, you are correct, but it's just kind of a slight shift from one centre of one high moving over to the next that just allows some plumes to push up from the south.
Yeah, and like you're showing more fine weather to come as
Yes.
we go through next week. This is really a bit of a blip. Like we
Yes.
often talk about with fine warm weather, a thundery breakdown, and it's not quite what we're seeing really, because it's it's just a case that some places will see some thundery downpours before we see the return of high. Yeah.
Yes, and it is going to be turning warm, but also it's going to be turning a little bit humid as well, maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable for a time, but hopefully eventually then that high pressure building back in, things turn a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Carl Madge has commented saying they've got golf on Sunday near Gloucester. Should be fun. Any advice?
Golf on Sunday near Gloucester?
Yeah, not advice on how to play. I don't know how good a golfer you are.
Oh,
but
I'm really good at golf.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, show us your swing.
I'm as good as golf as I am about my knowledge of Formula One.
Brilliant then. Brilliant then.
Golf on Gloucester on Sunday. Yeah, tricky one. If you know what a cumulonimbus cloud looks like, keep an eye out for those, and if you see one coming,
yeah, keep an eye on the forecast as well.
Yeah,
before you head out. You may want to postpone, cancel your golf trip on Sunday.
Yeah.
Definitely not one to risk
Let us
too
know how
much.
it goes.
So should we go through some of the questions from the last live then, whilst you're up at the screen? So Jane Lovering 9591 said tomorrow her son Will and his fiancée Emily get married near Moulton in North Yorkshire. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Apologies. What's it looking like? Will they see the end of the chilly northerly wind that they've had through much of this week as well?
I remember this question. This was asked a couple of weeks ago, and we said ask it again, and you have.
Here we go.
Because a couple of weeks ago, when I was last on with Alex, not you, Deacon.
I like
too many Alexes.
Let's just call him Alex, not you.
Alex, not you. Yes, it was just over 2 weeks away, wasn't it? So we were a little bit unsure, and we asked you to ask again so it's closer to the time. But the good news is, well, if you're looking for warm weather, the good news is it is looking a little bit warmer. Let's just skip ahead to Saturday, sorry. So it's going to be dry, there's going to be plenty of sunshine. It is going to be feeling warmer. I know Alex Deacon said a couple of weeks ago, it's not always great news when you've got the warm weather because you've got all your get-up on and it can get a little bit warm. But yeah, no, it's going to be fairly decent. Eventually, as I sort of showed, just bring this back up, Saturday. The reason it is getting warmer, in particular for eastern areas, is because earlier in the week where the high pressure was sat more across the UK, as obviously the winds go around high pressure in a clockwise direction, so that was bringing in a northeasterly flow, a northeasterly breeze across anywhere kind of around North Sea coast. So that was really adding on to the chill. It was bringing in more cloud. There was a risk of showers earlier in the week. So things were just feeling a little bit chillier. But now, as that high pressure kind of shifts its way more eastwards, we're seeing a bit of a change in our wind direction. So starting to get a bit more of a southeasterly wind. So things are getting a little bit warmer, mainly because of the change in wind direction. There's going to be more sunshine. So you're going to have a pretty nice day, to be honest, for a wedding. But yeah, you might just get a little bit warm. But it doesn't look like any kind of thunderstorm risk on Saturday. It's maybe later Saturday across the far southwest, but you're further enough away from that you shouldn't be at risk. So yeah, it's going to be a nice day. I hope the wedding goes well. Send us some pictures.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
We'd love to see the pictures, and yeah, at least the weather does look pretty decent. So
Yeah.
no complaints, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Gordon's asked a question. They're thinking of getting away for a few days, but is the UK going to be warmer and drier than other parts of Europe?
Ooh, good question. Because temperatures are on the up. Let's take a look at temperatures first for the UK, and then we can have a look elsewhere. Any ideas of where you're thinking about going? I know from doing the Gibraltar forecast yesterday, it's been quite bad there, quite showery across Spain and Portugal, but it looks like it was improving for Monday. So let's take a look at temperatures here first. So if we go from Saturday, so yeah, temperatures are kind of on the up day by day. As I said, on Sunday, Monday, it might start to feel a little bit humid, a little bit uncomfortable. But if you're okay with that, should feel rather pleasant. Highs reaching around the mid-20s for many areas. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get up some temperature graphs. Did he say whereabouts he was?
No.
No.
It's no.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all right. We'll have a look around. So for London, got it first time there, London.
Not
so you
Arsenal,
can see,
not Tottenham this time.
no, but I know you've got to click on the name, not the dot.
Yeah, I was
so.
thinking that as I watched it, but
Yeah,
it's too late.
and then
You'd recorded it 2 hours earlier, so there's no point me telling you.
I'm finally getting the hang of the touchscreen. So we can see across London, so parts of the southeast, for example, temperatures are on the up. It looks like the peak is going to be Sunday, Monday. Temperatures dipping away a little bit from Tuesday, but it's still going to be warm. Look, London's still going to be 21, 20. It's going to be quite warm overnight. Look, Sunday into Monday night, 14 degrees is a low, so it's going to be feeling pretty warm. If we move slightly further north, slight peak. So highs around 19, 20 degrees, probably across northern areas. Yeah, 20 degrees there. So still feeling warm in the sunshine. Across Scotland. Yeah, not getting quite as high in some places, but actually what we've got over the next few days, I'm sure if you're a fan of our content, you'll already know the answer to this, but what we've got with that change in wind direction, we're going to likely see the föhn effect taking place, particularly across Scotland. So these values probably shouldn't be taken as exact values, because what you'll tend to see is the air moving towards the mountain, moves towards the windward side, gets pushed up, any kind of moisture gets released, kind of cools and condenses as it pushes up the mountain, and then as it comes back down the leeward side, we get drier, warmer air. So anything to the lee of high ground, we could see some quite warm temperatures. That tends to up them by a few degrees in some cases. So a chance still we could see the mid-20s across parts of Scotland, particularly where we see the föhn effect take place. So yes, how do I get... we're going to go global, I think. Global temperatures is... Do you know which button that is?
Global temperature. If you just zoom...
Zoom out? Oh!
Yeah.
Perfect. Now zoom back in. But I'm pretty sure, I know Gibraltar was getting to about the mid-20s again from Monday onwards. Rome, 22. Madrid, this is overnight. Sunday.
These aren't maximum temperatures.
Oh, they're not. Oh, so if I go to
yeah, roughly.
middle of the day. Yeah, so Paris, 21. So I mean, close to the UK, it's probably going to be fairly similar. They're still going to be under that high pressures moving towards them, aren't they? So there's going to be lots of settled weather. But yeah, to be honest.
Yeah, all that wet weather across Iberia at the moment, though, that's heading eastwards, isn't it? So that's going to reach Italy as we go through the weekend and into next week. So to be honest, in answer to the original question...
I'm just clicking random buttons now.
Apart from the risk of the thunderstorms, the showers through Sunday into Monday, Tuesday, probably, a staycation or somewhere in the UK.
Yeah.
actually looks like a good shout if you've got the time.
Staycation. Yeah, where we have that area of high pressure across the UK, that quite amplified and wavy jet, that's kind of pushing any systems more towards kind of southern parts of Europe. So even though it's nice here, it can at times push the more unsettled weather further south. So we've got the good side of the weather so far, just because of that blocking high pushing everything else towards Europe. So yeah.
James B has asked, would the thunderstorms only be throughout daylight hours because of the warmth from the sun, or will it be possible to get nighttime thunderstorms?
Ooh, good question. I think, well, to be honest, it looks like they're going to be pushing in later later Saturday through into Sunday, although this is a little bit, this model here is a little bit pushed back. I think they're going to be slightly further north, aren't they? Perhaps potentially coming through later Saturday into Sunday. So as that system does start to push up across the southwest, I guess there's a chance you could see some during the very early hours of Sunday. But yeah, initially for this first band that moves through, because they're kind of elevated, there's elevated instability, it's kind of that daytime heating that acts as the trigger to kind of force those thunderstorms to take place. But as we head, I think it's later Sunday through into Monday and Tuesday, they're more surface-based, which means they're more likely to take place during the day as heating starts to take place during the afternoon. So I think that's correct. I'm not sure really about the overnight period.
Yes, you're right. In as much as some of it, they're more likely to develop the homegrown ones during the daytime, and particularly at this time of year. I know we've had like a warm, dry spell and stuff, but it's not as hot as it would be in like end of June, July, August time, when you're more likely to get the thunderstorms into the evening and overnight. But and you also have to factor in that there is that system coming up from the south, and that's helping drive them. So it's kind of the homegrown ones at this time of year more likely to be during the daytime hours. Yeah. But it's not only homegrown ones that we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. I think we've thrown enough questions at you for the time being at the board. Would you like to come over and join me for a quiz?
Go on then.
Now, if you're a regular watcher of our Weather Studio Lives, you'll know that we do these quizzes every week, and it's the opportunity for the person on this side to quiz the person on that side as to how much they know about the weather, though that's pushing it. Often the questions aren't actually that much related to weather, but we try to cling them slightly to the topic of some sort. And this week's topic, I've kind of gone down the thunderstorm sun route because that's the weather that we have at the moment. Lots of sunshine, lots of thunderstorms. But as I say that, I've realised I think at least two of the questions have very little to do with the topic, so we're good on that front. They're always
the ones I normally get right.
They're always, well, generally they're multiple choice, and so that makes it a little bit easier. Do play along at home, leave comments if you know the answer, or if you are guessing at the answer. There'll probably be a poll for you to leave your answers with as well. No one as of yet from within our presenting team has managed to get 5 out of 5. Aidan was very close last week. I thought he was going to do it. You thought you were going to do it the week before.
We're getting close. Someone's going to do it soon. I can feel it.
It's going to happen.
Hopefully it's me today.
Hopefully it's you today.
And then I'll be queen of the quiz.
Quiz queen. Right, let's start off with then. Question number 1. This is on topic actually. What is the highest number of lightning strikes recorded in the UK and the nearby seas in a day? Now this figure came from Toro and was recorded, if it helps in any way, on the 28th of June 2012. So obviously it's multiple choice, I'm not that horrible. A, 46,000, B, 57,000, or C, 64,000. So how many lightning strikes recorded in a day?
On that particular day?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the highest number that we've ever recorded in a day. Yeah, not just some random day. You remember the 28th of June. Where were you in 2012?
Lightning strike hitting the ground?
Lightning strikes recorded. No, they don't need to hit the ground. They could be like just lightning strikes recorded with like our spherics and stuff. Okay,
please could you say the numbers
again? Of course. So on the day with the highest number of lightning strikes, how many were recorded? 46,000, B, 57,000, or C, 64,000?
Or 64. Now, haven't you just done a video about... Oh, no, that was tornadoes.
That was tornadoes. So let's have a look at the poll. Here we go. Most people are going down the middle with 57,000, but a lot of people are going with 64,000.
I agree. I'm going to go for it.
Your answer in.
Go big or go home.
Go big. So you're well. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but you said 64,000. So I like your logic. I like your logic. Right. Question 2. When was the last? So I'll put some context to this.
Okay.
We've already talked about how dry it's been for many places. When was the last time that Heathrow Airport, I just picked a random place, but most people know where Heathrow Airport is, recorded any rain? So it's been really dry. So when was the last time that they had any rain according to their observation station?
Oh.
So I will give you options, so you can stop thinking. But I put the... apologies to Emma, who was setting up the quiz. I put the wrong answer in what I sent to you. So the answers the multiple choice answers, one of them's right, but it's not the one she thinks is right. The options, apologies. A, 14th of April, B, 22nd of April, or C, the 30th of April. So the 30th of April is just, that's about 10 days ago. The 22nd of April is about, like 18, 19 days ago. And the 14th of April is almost a week before that. So.
Okay. I don't think it was end of April. Mm-hmm. So either the 14th or the 22nd, because we did have...
It has been really dry.
It has.
Let's see what people are saying.
Reported rain or any kind of rain shower.
So any sort of, the rain gauge picked up anything.
Right, okay.
And at this time of year, sometimes rain gauges pick up like a little bit of dew and stuff, but it had nothing. No, it had none of that. So it had been 0 every day. Okay. When we're looking back up until this point.
I'm going to go early, I think. Mm-hmm. Because it has been very dry.
I've lost the poll. It's disappeared. But I'm sure people.
I'm going 14th of April. Who's with me?
Most people have gone with the 22nd of April. So I think probably
because we did have some showers, but I don't think they were in the southeast. But I genuinely can't remember.
Yeah, fair enough. It was a few weeks ago. Right. Question 3. We have a host of GIFs available on Giphy. You can use them on Instagram. You think you know the question. You don't.
Do I not?
No. You think...
I've been talking GIFs all morning.
So we have a host. We've created some of them. Aidan, Alex, myself. You're about to create some. I'm going to do some,
yeah.
On a range of topics. You may have seen one of Aidan taking his suit off because it's... I think it's because it's hot and sunny. I'm not sure. So. These GIFs, which are available Instagram, WhatsApp, wherever you use GIFs, we've had over 1 billion views of our Met Office branded GIFs.
That is crazy.
You thought that was going to be the question,
I did.
Didn't
I was
you?
like, great.
Well, speaking of GIFs, when were they created? So when was a GIF first created? It was, I'll give you a clue. This is no clue whatsoever, but it was by an American company called CompuServe. Or it's by a company called CompuServe, led by an American computer scientist, Steve Wilhite. The options. So when were they first developed? In either A, 1987, the year I was born, B, 1996, the year you were born, or C, 2005, the year someone born in 2005 was born.
2005. Okay, when were GIFs created? Because I...
Were you using them back in 1987? I wasn't.
No.
You answered that
no,
seriously.
I was not.
Were you using them 9 years before you were born?
It's got to be 2005. That's what I'm going with. It's got to be.
It's an answer.
So would that be 10 years ago?
20, but...
Oh yeah, sorry. God, we're on it today.
Question 4. How long ago was 2005? Right. Question 4. Which of the 4 extra-based... Oh, wait, this is a good one, actually. Sorry, I should build it up a bit more. So obviously, driving to work is an easy way to do it, but it's good to cycle or walk if you can. So Aidan and Alex are really keen cyclists, cycle all the time. But this week, which of the 4 Exeter-based presenters cycled into work the most amount of times? Was it A, Aidan, B, Alex, me, C, Alex Deacon, or D, you?
Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah.
I feel like you're rubbing this in a little bit here, Alex.
A little clue there.
So who cycled the most?
In times into work. Not the furthest distance, we're not taking that into account.
This week?
Just this week. Yeah.
Week.
We don't look back further than a week. That's unnecessary.
Just want to emphasise that point.
Yeah, so either A, Aidan, B, me, C, Alex Deacon, or D, Honor. But I think you've sent in your option now.
I have.
And then last but not least, I thought I'd throw in a riddle. We do love a riddle
We
in
love
these
a riddle.
quizzes, but this riddle's quite tricky.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give you the multiple choice options, but people watching, they can have the multiple choice options so that they can have
Favouritism.
Good to go. Yeah, it is. So, my thunder comes before my lightning comes before my rain, and my rain dries all the ground it touches. What am I?
Can you say it again, but slower?
Yeah. My thunder comes before my lightning.
Right.
My lightning comes before my rain, and my rain dries all the ground it touches. What am I? I'm actually going to send it to you so you can read it because it's pretty tricky. If it helps, I don't think I got it when I was watching it.
My thunder comes before my...
Can I just say, 20% have said that I cycled in the most this week. We gave you clues. Like, what?
What did I get? What percentage did I get?
Hold on.
I'm just going to say, I don't even own a bike.
you got 1%, so I think.
It must show I don't cycle to work.
So Alex D and Alex and Aidan had quite high similar likelihood.
They must have spoken about their cycling before.
Yeah, lots of people are getting this question, the riddle, right, but that's because they have the multiple choice. So
Okay.
I think they have an advantage.
If
you want, I will give you the multiple choice.
What am I going to do if I don't know? Hang on.
It's tough.
My thunder comes before my lightning.
My thunder comes before my lightning comes before my rain, and my rain dries all the ground it touches. What am I? Going to have to hurry you a little bit because this is a great viewing.
I don't know. Is it weather? It is weather themed, isn't it?
Yeah. No.
No, it's not.
No.
How
about we go through the other questions?
Okay.
And you can have a little think.
Give me a minute.
Okay. So the answers. Question 1. What was the highest number of lightning strikes recorded in a day in the UK? And the answer was 64,000. Well done.
Yes.
Yeah, you got that right. Off to a good start. That was on the 28th of June 2012. Question 2.
Yeah.
When was the last time Heathrow Airport recorded any rain? It was actually on the 22nd of April.
Damn.
So B, you said the 14th. There was a bit of rain on the 14th,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that much. It was only like 2 or 3 millimetres.
Yeah.
On the 22nd, I think they had around 11 millimetres. And actually, that's the only day this spring where Heathrow's recorded more than like 2 or 3 millimetres. Most days have been completely dry.
That was when the showery day was then?
So it's been really dry.
Okay.
Yeah, there was some rain. Even 10 millimetres or 11 millimetres isn't a huge amount.
Right.
Our GIFs that we've created have had more than 1 billion views, but when were GIFs created or developed?
I don't think that's the next question. Oh, no, it is, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The answer was 1987.
Really?
Yeah, a really long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
Were people using them, though? How did they use them?
wasn't.
On the computer?
Ask
Sure, that's
Steve
right.
Wilhite. Steve, how
Oh,
did
I'm
people
very surprised about that.
Yeah, so was I. That's why I put it as a quiz question.
Okay.
Oh, 4.
Oh,
Which of the
dear.
4 Exeter-based presenters here at the Met Office cycled into work the most amount of times this week? It was me.
I hope Aidan's watching.
Aidan.
Those two have had a little bit of a competition this week.
Aidan only did he even cycle in once this week?
He
no,
couldn't.
he didn't.
He couldn't because
His daughter left her glasses
he had to drive
somewhere.
and go get his daughter's glasses. So Alex has won this week.
Yeah. So we're not doing that
You're both
thing again.
beating me.
Maybe you should ask for
I
a
hope
bike.
Aidan's watching.
maybe you could use your... anyway, 5. My thunder comes before my lightning comes before my rain, and my rain dries all the ground it touches. What am I? A volcano.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really hard, that one. So apologies.
My thunder becomes my lightning.
Yeah, it does work because the
Okay.
rain's like the ash cloud and it likes hot.
Oh,
and warm.
that was a tricky one.
It was a tricky one. I can see, but the options I gave people was cumulonimbus, volcano, or hairdryer. I think you would have got it with those options.
Hairdryer.
So you can say you either got 2 or 3. I'm happy because I think if you'd had the multiple choice options, you'd have got the riddle.
Yeah.
But
I only got 1.
No, you got the question 4 as well. You got question 1 and 4.
Oh
right?
yes, no, I did. Yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So
Yes.
no, yeah, you're good.
Okay, I got 2.
2 out of 4. So well done. Let us know how many. Oh, a couple of people got 0. So well done. 2
I actually liked that quiz.
3 out of 5. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like the ones
Interesting
that aren't that
questions.
weathery.
Yeah, which
I've
is
got that.
strange.
I've
It's
got
because
that.
I'm up there talking about the weather so much. I fancy something a bit different.
Yeah.
But no, good quiz, Alex.
Speaking about other things that we've been doing, we already discussed the fact that we do explainer videos, evergreen videos. I also create a monthly show called Climate Conversations, which I do with Claire Nazir. We try to get those out every second Thursday of the month, which was yesterday. So we issued the latest edition yesterday. It was all about food security, and I was lucky enough to catch up with Thomas Crocker, one of our science managers here at the Met Office. It's not going to become harder to get, is it?
I hopefully not. I mean, but ultimately, pizza. You need your wheat to make the base. You need the tomatoes, the tomato sauce. You need your cheese, which is coming from dairy. There's the whole animal side of food as well. There's the livestock and poultry and dairy, basically. That aspect of the system is just as much affected by climate as growing crops is.
So one last question that we had come in from Chazandolf FC. Why is the weather in the UK so unpredictable?
Ooh, that is a good question. I guess we have quite changeable weather, don't we? We get a lot of our weather from the west, so sometimes we get frontal systems moving through, we can get storms. We have situations like this where we get quite an amplified jet, so we have a blocking high, and then the weather stays the same for a good few weeks, I suppose now, besides the blips. But I think overall, I think the Met Office does a pretty good job of predicting our weather. We try to kind of communicate, but we are a little bit uncertain, just like as we head over the next few days, we're still a little bit uncertain as to exactly where the thunderstorms hit. I think sometimes people get a little bit confused between the difference between rain and showers as well. I think I've said to even my family before, there is a risk of showers, and then they say, it was dry all day. What were you talking about? And it's a similar thing like what we're saying with the thunderstorm. Showers can just pop up. It might have just been a mile down the road, but you tend to miss it. So I think it's just our weather can be quite changeable, can't it?
Yes, it's the Atlantic Ocean to the west of us.
Yeah.
There's also that big vast area of water where things can get quite heavily modified before they come towards us, because like you say, most of our weather comes from the west, and so if you have land mass to the west of you, it's slightly easier to predict what's going on, albeit orography can change things quite drastically. So that's part of the pickle. Also just where we are north to south, it plays a part because we have the jet stream so close to us. So lots of things going on. Well, thank you so much for watching this week's Weather Studio Live. It'll be Aidan and Alex back next week, and then it will be Alex and me the week after. Someone put in the comments that they wanted an Alex duo, because I don't think we've had one of them yet. So so I think it'll be the first. Alex will be doing the quiz for me, so I hope he's kind.
Yeah, he does good quizzes.
Yeah. What are you up to next week?
What am I doing next week? I have no idea. I'm going to be making some GIFs. That's what I'm going to be doing.
For British Sign Language GIFs.
Yeah, exactly. So
we've got
keep
some
an
of
eye
those
out
coming
for
out.
those on WhatsApp, and I think you can use them pretty much everywhere, Facebook and stuff, so they'll be good. I'm going to be making some GIFs. I've got a day off on Monday, so maybe I'll have a look at see if I can find any thunderstorms.
Bit of storm chasing.
Yeah, a bit of storm chasing. What about you?
I'm hoping to catch up with Annie next week and meet her little baby.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, so that's my plan. Otherwise, surviving. Let's just get through it. Cool. Wonderful. Like we said, we'll be back next week. As always, hit the like button. Do keep leaving comments, questions that you have. We'll try and answer them next week. And keep on top of all of our content. Make sure you do that by subscribing. and so then you never miss an update. We'll obviously be keeping you up to date throughout the weekend with the risk of the thunderstorms wherever you are. Thanks again for watching.
Bye.